On April 1st, we transplanted hundreds of tomato starts from our nursery trays into 4-inch pots, and also 6-inch pots, looks like, and whatever was left over of strawberry starts. You can see they've greened up. Look at them go. We have some up here. These are all 4-inch. We take them out of the starter trays and transplant them, and boy, they really take off. And today we've received another order of La Roma, which is a larger Roma Italian style tomato. Sweet 100s, super fantastics, and I think that's it. Then we have some green, orange, and yellow, red maybe, bell peppers. We're going to transplant from smaller trays into the 4-inch pots. This tub of potting mix is 10 inches deep, 2 feet long, and 18 inches wide. And we have a lot of peat moss in there, but then we have a can of vermiculite, or not vermiculite, but perlite. And we have probably a gallon and a half, maybe 2 gallons of steer manure, composted steer manure. And got that mixed up, and it's all moist. Don't want to do it dry. The dry peat moss will repel the water, so it needs to be pre-moistened, and it's pretty moist, just not sticky and muddy. We're going to take these out of their little trays. Little tomatoes. I'm going to pull all the little starter leaves off. Like that. I'm going to take a 4-inch pot. Break the bottom of the roots open just a little bit and fill that 4-inch pot up to where I'm going to take this lower branch off. It's a little bit too low. And set those in our tray. There's a branch that can come off. A little bit of soil in the bottom of the pot. Set her down in pretty deep. And fill it in. Give it a lot more space for roots. When we pot up the gallon tomato plants grow actually faster than the 4-inch. They just have a lot more room for the roots to spread and go deeper and wider. And from what I've seen anyway, they'll grow a lot faster than they will in these little 4-inch. What we want to see in a 4-inch pot is a long stem. A long stem will give us a plant that we can plant through plastic in the garden, or a long stem will allow you to lay the stem down for more rooting and come up like this when you're planting in a furrow. That's too deep. I got to start over there. Like that. We'll put labels on all of these so we don't forget what variety they are, because 20 varieties all look the same. As we set these in a tray, there's 15 to a tray in some, and 10 in a tray to another smaller size. But we don't want this branch is hanging out. It'll bump into the other ones right near the cup, and then it'll get wet. It'll get in the dirt. So I just pinch that off right there, and it'll be healthy as can be. We can even pinch these off. These off here aren't going to go anywhere. The growth stem is right in the middle, and it's going to keep growing vertically. When I came in the greenhouse this afternoon at 3 o'clock, I had forgotten to open some doors and vents. When I went to Horseshoe Bend today, and when I came home, it was 120 degrees in here, and all the poor tomatoes are all wilted over, and maybe a few were a little dry. Well, I quickly opened the vents, of course, run some cool water across the tomatoes and set them in out of the shade, and then this greenhouse had a shade cloth, which I haven't gotten out and used this year. We actually used it in the blackberries last year to experiment to see if we put shade cloth over the blackberry bush section here by the greenhouse, if it would keep the top berries from burning. And I didn't care for it. If some burn, oh well. I just think the plant needed more sun, and so we're not going to do that again. So I took the shade cloth and put it back along the side of the greenhouse next to us here. And the little tomato plants perked right back up again. No damage done, I hope. Here's a tomato where in the 4-pack there's one where 2 came up. There must have been 2 seeds in there. So we'll pull this out and carefully see if that's branched or if that's actually 2 seeds. Yeah, I think we can go ahead and split those. Sometimes they're a little bit stiff, but these are young plants. Just take the roots and divide them. And whether some go to one and some go to the other or not, it's still fairly cool and early in the season, and you should be able to transplant both of those and save them and not have to throw one away. The easier way is just to cut the lesser healthy one off and let the other one go. Just like that. And we made 2 out of 1. I use the bigger tongue depressor type stick for berries or gallon pots, something larger. But these little popsicle sticks work great for 4-inch pots and anything that you're just doing here to start in the greenhouse. We'll label these La Roma. And another tray we have here. Super fantastic. We're still in the middle of our business shutdown in Boise for the COVID-19 coronavirus. And I heard some people on the radio talking today that their leader said, yeah, we're going to open, so all of you can soon go back to work, but then you can't go out after work. You can't go do anything. And I'm thinking, well, if it's that serious still, then you can't open a store that's non-essential, because after work, where are people going to go? They're going to still have to go home. You can't open a restaurant because the governor said they can't go anywhere non-essential. So you're still, half of the economy is shut down, and the rest of the economy won't work either if that's the case. Some people can go to work. I don't know how that's going to work. I also heard the Boise Parks and Rec director today shut down all the tennis courts, all the basketball places, where you play publicly, because even though he said 80% of the people were keeping their social distancing, there were just a few that weren't, so they shut it down for everybody. And I guess that's how it works sometimes. It sure is obnoxious that they have to shut down the national forest. They shut down, you cannot go into the national forest public campgrounds, or I'm going to guess they don't want you in the forest, even walking and hiking. I see people hiking up and down the sidewalk. Some friends of ours were a mile away and walking down the sidewalk today. And I said, oh, that's fun to see you out walking, and they don't have anything else to do, so you might as well try to get some fresh air a little bit. They were walking together, just 2 people, and stopped by to say hi, but it's pretty shut down. I can do this. Part of my business requires that I move pianos, and if the people have to be out of the house, they have to be out of the house. There's a deadline, and so that's essential. So I got called today to move a piano out of a house they don't want it anymore up in Horseshoe Bend. And a couple of days ago I brought one in for storage because the existing house sold, but the new house isn't ready. You know, that happens. And 2 days before that, I had done the same thing. Brought a piano in for storage for a family that had sold their home, but the new one wasn't ready. We'll be storing it for about a month while they live with the, family maybe. And we still have at least 2 weeks to go before the government starts to open things back up again. Today, over 780 people died from COVID-19 in New York. Those are crazy numbers. Crazy things happening right now. Seems a little bit scary, but we'll get through it.